The Sopwith 1.5 Strutter is a First World War aircraft that doesn't get as much attention as it should, but I've been invited to learn a little bit more about an aeroplane called Sophie. Alright, so today I'm going to go see the Sopwith 1.5 Strutter that was built by a group of pensioners in Scotland. I don't know what to expect, but I'm excited to go. So, let's go meet my friend James and head up the road. The aircraft I'm here to see was built by the APSS, who specialise in the preservation and restoration of early aviation history. I met with Mike, who told me a bit more about why the Strutter, they called Sophie, was chosen and what makes her so important.
The project was started in 2000 by the guys at East Fortune, the members of the Aviation Preservation Society of Scotland. The idea was to make a 1.5 Strutter because the 1.5 Strutter was the very first aircraft to land on what was the world's very first aircraft carrier, HMS Argus, and it was done in the Forth, not 5 miles from where we built this aircraft. And that's why we, the APSS, decided to build a replica of it, because it's the world's very first carrier aircraft.
The Sopwith 1.5 Strutter entered service in early 1916. It was one of the first British aircraft to successfully use a synchronised machine gun. They made it a real step forward, not just a pair of eyes in the sky, but an armed aircraft that could fight its way to and from a mission. Excitingly, I was invited to the cockpit for a brief flying lesson.
You just do that, the plane will slip to the side. You have to use your rudder in conjunction with it to give you a balanced turn in the air. Everything was rudimentary. All this stuff here is modern, so they wouldn't have had any of that, because we have an engine in here that has lots of modern ancillaries in it that you need things like instruments like this and switches like this to run it.
They need modern instruments because Sophie would be a flying machine, not just a static display. I also got a pilot's view of my gun.
And that's to stop the shell cases hitting you in the face.
This is kind of the aircraft that can do everything.
Yeah, it's the first multi-role aircraft.
Imagine seeing that coming on an airfield. It was like a space shuttle. It was just
years later, we were flying C-130.
That's right.
That's
and
insane.
The same man that designed the Hurricane designed the Harrier. And that is staggering.
With the history to one side, I wanted to figure out a bit more about them building it.
So what's your favourite part of this that you've made?
That bit there.
So how long did it take you to
Made that? Weeks off.
That's brilliant.
Also that wheel too, that's cast. I got that cast and then I built it all and built the pulleys and so on. That takes weeks as well.
They built the scarf ring too. Yes, that also means they built the gun to go with it.
Next, on the original aircraft, it didn't have a fuel pump as such. It pressurised the tank. So the pilot, when he got on to start it, used this to pump up the pressure in the fuel tank so that it would push fuel into the engine. Once it was running, then it had its own pressurisation, but this is how you did it to get started.
Oh my god.
That there is a modern instrument, but it's made to look old. That's the rev counter for it.
Oh, okay.
And then you got the modern circuit breakers and engine start and all that sort of stuff down here as well.
That's so
the
clever
usual
how
stuff.
you've done
But but obviously in the originals they would just swing the prop to start it.
that. From literally starting with nothing and to just build this entire aeroplane.
Beautiful. I mean, I remember the day that Ken had this on the bench, and I was like, "Looks like a shoe, Ken." And it was like, this is leather inside here, and that was basically so that the guy could put his foot in. Climb into the aircraft.
I never appreciated just how these planes are held together. The real strength comes from the network of wires. These aren't just there for show, they're kept under tension, holding everything together.
If you were instantly cut every wire in this aircraft, it would fall to bits.
I know, that's insane. You've done such a good job. It's wonderful.
I wanted to know a little bit more about Sophie.
Does every aircraft have its own number then?
Yes.
And was it the same back then as well?
That one is the same number.
Okay.
But Mike, tell this girl about the number. It belongs to a man.
It belongs to what?
Well, it's a man's number, for his aircraft.
Oh, Bell Davies.
Bell Davies, a man called Bell Davies.
Yeah.
This is a replica almost of the aircraft he flew, including the number.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bell Davies, when he became much more senior, was the first man to land an aircraft on an aircraft carrier. It was a converted ship then, right?
Mm-hmm.
First man ever. And it was one of these. You landed.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And that was the Argus, was it?
Yes, you know about that. It was in the 5th or 4th they landed. They did it. Then there was 2 squadrons of these came to East Fortune in 1916, and that's what this is based on. And they patrolled up to the Wars of Forth to watch out for attacks on the dockyards at the naval dockyards at Queensferry. The Zeppelins that were attacking Britain then,
Yeah.
they flew up the east coast of Britain, and a Zeppelin one night flew right up the river, the water of Leith, that's the river that goes through Edinburgh, and bombed everything all the way up the river. So once they had fighter planes, they tried to shoot these Zeppelins down, but the bullets just went through them, and a hole that size makes no difference to a Zeppelin for leakage. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of metres of gas in a few bullet holes hardly made any difference. But then they started trying to set them on fire with these incendiary bullets, and then they developed bullets that actually made, when it went through the fabric, they let air in. So hydrogen doesn't burn in it, so you've got to mix it with oxygen in the air. So it let the air in, and as the air went in, it mixed with the hydrogen to set fire to it as it went through the gas bags.
Early pilots found that firing normal bullets at Zeppelins did almost nothing. It was only when incendiary and explosive rounds were developed that aircraft like the Strutter became truly effective weapons against airships.
So I understand that these machines can carry bombs as well.
Yes, they did.
Yeah?
2 bombs, 2 50-pound bombs. And 6 of these aircraft raided the Zeppelin hangars at a place called Friedrichshafen, where they kept the big Zeppelins. And they destroyed all the Zeppelins in the hangars, just 6 of these aircraft. And that was 12 bombs, basically. In the early days, these things used to fly over the trenches, and they took notes where everything was, and they flew back over our side, and they dropped notes wrapped around stones. And the guys read the notes, and then they phoned back to headquarters, and that was to tell headquarters where the guns were, their guns. So they modified what our guns were doing in direction and altitude. And then eventually they had Morse code, they had radios.
It's amazing.
You've got Morse code on it, right?
A spark transmitter.
A spark, that sends out radio waves in every
Full spectrum.
full spectrum. And they towed a 100-foot area at the back, 100 foot long. If you go to the Science Museum, you'll see the Roland Garros's apparatus, and you'll see the radio with the big area. Anyway, they towed that behind, and then they looked at what's going on in the trenches and the guns, and they sent messages back by Morse code. And as soon as they got in a scrap, they jetted the area at the back to get away, because it caused a lot of drag. And you can see that in the Science Museum.
That's amazing.
And a glass.
Which science museum?
In London.
Down in London, right? Because they've got one in Glasgow.
I know, but this is in London. And
Manchester as well.
Oh, they did. I remember that. Yeah.
Considering they started with nothing and they built all of this themselves, it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's beautiful.